No matter your age, your plan for retirement can start today. From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Retirement Report.
Good morning. Welcome to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. Going to be talking, it's tax time, right? None of us like this part of the year. We got to, settle up and hopefully not write any checks or very small checks. But we're having to deal with the taxes. We have to get all our stuff together. We have to get our tax forms, the W-2s, the 1099s, all that together. If we're doing anything with regard to retirement account, retirement accounts distribution, but also with regard to investment accounts, right? If you've got your 1099s there, if you sold anything, are you going to have any capital gains taxes? We're going to get into a lot of different things about taxes, including, I've been talking the last few weeks about tax efficient investing and tax efficient income, how to in fact minimize taxes when you're taking income. We're going to tap on those a little bit and review some of that and how it applies today. Tax efficient income, we've talked about tips in the past about how you can invest in ways, how you structure your portfolio can either create more tax or can reduce tax, and we'll talk to you how to do that. Taxation of Social Security benefits, this is another one. Understanding how the system works, there are ways to reduce taxation of your Social Security, and this can play into, again, all of these tips together. We're talking thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, possibly even hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax savings over your lifetime. Capital gains tax rates versus ordinary income tax rates, understanding the progressive nature of our tax code. If you understand how that works, and we're going to clear up some of that confusion this morning as well, so that you can use this to your advantage in minimizing taxes. Value of Roth IRAs and Roth conversions, understanding how those work and how that can also help you minimize taxes, especially over your lifetime. Required minimum distributions, understanding those and how that's going to impact your tax situation, and again, how we can plan for that. All right, by the way, one of the things I'm going to share with you too, this weekend, we've got some radio shows we're going to be doing, and I've got in today with me Dr. Friday with Dr. Friday's tax and financial firm over in Brentwood, and she is a tax expert, as you know. She's been on here many times, tax expert for individuals and small business owners, and for small business owners in particular, that's one of those areas with payroll taxes and all the different things you have to deal with, self-employment tax. You really need some help in that area. Dr. Friday, by the way, has been doing my taxes for myself and for my company, payroll, all that stuff for a lot of years.
That's so sweet of you.
That's right. We go back quite a few years. One of the things here we're going to be doing, by the way, Dr. Friday has a radio show on. It's on 99.7 News Talk Radio. Is that the
exactly
99.7 News Talk Radio FM, and that's at 2 to 3 o'clock on Saturdays. And I'm going to be on her show this week, so that's tomorrow from 2 to 3. Again, 99.7 News Talk Radio, and then on Sunday I'm starting a new show. New radio show, and that's going to be on as well. It's going to be simulcast on two stations. One is 98.3 Talk Radio. Again, 98.3. This is going to be on Sunday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon, and it'll simulcast on 1510 AM WLAC. So we'll have lots going on. We're going to be carrying forward a lot of these same topics on her show and on my Sunday radio show. All right. Today, it's tax time again, so
yes, this is time.
What's the deadline for people getting their tax rate? Because I've got people calling in now wanting to get their appointments, and some have everything and some are still waiting.
Well, in theory, January 31st should have been the last day that they had to put it in the mail. So many people should, I always tell them by about 15th of February, just allowing time for things to get mailed and the postage and everything to go through. I would say you should have everything by the 15th of February. Keep in mind this, a lot of these places are sending out emails telling you to download your information. They are not mailing it. So if you're a person that maybe just kind of throws all that into junk or ends up in junk mail and you haven't seen your W-2, for example, our firm, most of ours are electronic now, so we have a site where people go to view my paycheck, it's called, and you pull up your W-2 and you get your information. We don't usually have to mail them any longer. So if you haven't received it, it might be because you haven't looked at your email. So just be careful about missing some of those, or call your employer because they may say, well, you have to go to this site to download it.
Okay, and 1099s be watching for, and this is another one. You know, I know with my clients we set aside a few days each year just for tax appointments. So Dr. Parrott does a lot of my clients, and so we've got probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 days I think that we meet, and we'll hit on that at a half hour per, probably about 15 plus appointments each of those days. Yeah, so we get a lot done.
Yes, we do.
And part of that is I like to be at those meetings. It's beneficial for tax planning, and it's also helpful because of the tax. We get an opportunity to look at the W-2s and well, in particular the 1099s, to look for errors or problems there if they're coded wrong, so that they're, you know, if we've done some Roth conversions, if there's been some self-securities, making sure cost basis is properly reported. All of those things are real important to make sure that that we're not paying any more in taxes than we absolutely have to. All right.
And a little pre-tax planning, like, you know, now we have such large tax changes. Is it the time that maybe you should ask your tax person, if I do this conversion, what will it cost me? Should I be doing a little bit more in conversions under this new one, because the tax code is lower at this point than what we've seen in the last 20 years or whatever it's been. So you need to just make sure you're taking advantage. We've only got 5 years theoretically of this tax code, and we've already lost the first year. So, you know, now's the time to really jump on board and make sure you're maximizing the time we have.
And we've talked about before, you know, tax efficiency in a portfolio, as an example, is how you're structuring your portfolio, how you hold stocks and bonds, understanding how the tax code works for each of those. And one of the things when it comes into preparing, like doing some tax planning now, is looking at how your investments are set up. And we're going to help you with that this morning, as well as understanding when you're taking income in retirement, how these rules can apply as well. So as Dr. Parrott is saying, we've got these special code right now, or special tax rates right now. So the tax brackets were reduced down to what is now, we've got the 10% bracket still, 12% bracket instead of 15, 22 instead of 25, and so on up the ladder. One of the things that comes into that is understanding how these work then and how you can use them to your advantage. One of the things for a married couple, age 65, let me get my little handy dandy guide out, but basically it's a $26,400, I believe.
Yes.
So 26,400 is your standard deduction. Let's see, you're blind, 13%. No, I take that back, 26,600, I was close. 26,600 is your standard deduction. That means for the first 26,600, right, zero tax. This is really good. No tax on that part. And then the next, approximately, it's just under 20,000. Let me look again, 19,400. So 19,400 at 10%. So now that means you've got basically put those two together at 26,600 and 19,400. And you've got $46,000. Of $46,000, your first $46,000 in income, you basically paid $1,940 in tax. Okay, so that's like 5% or something. Okay, or less than 5, small 4%. So this is one of the things we want to look at, is understanding how these work then and how you can use them to your advantage. If you take that, the next bracket up is 12%. That takes you up to basically about $102,000, give or take, for a married couple over 65. So now what does that mean then? That means up to that point your effective tax rate is 9%, meaning you pay about $9,000 in taxes on approximately $102,000, $103,000 in income. And understanding how Social Security plays into that if you're getting Social Security. This is another important piece. And this is one of the more complex pieces. You know, one of the things, Friday, I was looking at I mean, they tell us basically up to, if you make, you got guidelines. If you're for a single person, up to $25,000 in the provisional income formula, and up to half of your Social Security can be taxed, right? But then it doesn't say exactly what that is, and you've got a whole worksheet that you've got to go through to calculate that. It seems that between, I think, up to the next level, which is 34,000 or 32,000. Or 34, which is it? 34,000. So if you're single, that means for $25,000 in income from Social Security at what we call the provisional income formula. So what we're doing with the provisional income formula.
I'll explain that really quick, because they'll think, oh my gosh, I have to tax my Social Security.
So here's what you do. Take half of what you get from Social Security, that income. In fact, I'm getting told we got to take a break. So I'm going to save this formula because it's going to be a little lengthier for when we come back, and we'll talk about taxation of Social Security, how that plays in, and how you can, knowing these rules, there are ways that you can minimize these taxes, and we'll show you how to do that. But first, a quick break. Join us here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.